Evening, everybody. It's 6:05, and it is video number 1334. Your closing comment for today, Wednesday, the 22nd of June. And I'm not going to do a lot of individual stocks. I will talk about one in a minute, but in the interim, I was actually pretty impressed with today. We had Powell speaking on the Hill, semi-annual Humphrey Hawkins, usually something negative. And frankly, with what's gone on relative to inflation, I expected it to be negative. And I guess everybody else did too, because the futures were down overnight last night, and they opened down pretty hard. In fact, the Dow traded down as low as down 364. But at the end of the day, they were down just 47. And in fact, they had been up over 100 and they did sell off. And a fair amount of what Jay Powell said, I think actually encouraged people. So we had all of these markets down hard, and at the end of the day, barely changed, and one-to-one advanced declines, both NYSE and NASDAQ. Volume identical to yesterday, 1.2 billion on the NYSE and 5.1 billion on the NASDAQ. And excuse me, while there have been some very big days like the 7.2 billion on the Triple Witch last Friday, 5.1 is above what has been in the 4.7 to 4.8 area. Not huge, but okay. So we had nothing except the transports down really minor fraction. So the Dow down 47 and change, 0.15, NASDAQ down 16, 0.15, S&P down 490, 0.13, the Russell down 375.22. The big loser was the transports down 146 and change, 1.12, which was surprising because, from my perspective anyway, because energy was so much lower. And speaking of the energy, the chart on the screen here is nat gas, and as I pointed out yesterday and again today, 38.2% retracement has stopped, broke out there to the upside, pulled back, recovery high, pulled right back to the same area, recovery high, shorter pullback, recovery high. This is the day of the explosion in Texas, the Texas facility that is going to cut our ability to send nat gas out. So means, somewhat of a glut here. Came right back down there yesterday, traded right back into that 650, 655. Today, an inside day, so a slightly higher low, 657 and a half, a slightly lower high at 693, but closing up on the day and towards the high. I don't know if that's going to hold or not, but it certainly didn't disturb me. The oil was down $3.33, but it was down all the way to 23.6 Fibonacci retracement, almost exactly. Made a low at 101.53, closed mid-range and down on the day, but nowhere near the lows. So, and it pierced the 100-day moving average and then came back and closed above it. So, that's one that we'll have to see. Obviously, the MACD rolled over way back here at 123. We'll see how far we get on the downside. Gold had a very quiet day, up 10 to down 10, closed up $1.40. silver, which I was looking to buy today, but just couldn't get a solid read on it because it traded down to 21.20 overnight, and we never got the opportunity to participate there. Looking at this chart, you can see why we would have wanted to participate down there. Same kind of higher low and closed mid-range, and tonight just reopened a few minutes ago. It's basically unchanged, but this is a different looking chart than the gold. It went further on the downside and then came back up and then made a higher low last week. So, clearly we need to see it above this, but I'd settle for the first move above 22. Close over 22 would be somewhat interesting to me. Bitcoin was quiet, down 755 on a very tight inside day. The dollar was down 23 cents. It was higher and was really trying to move up. It traded almost 105, 104.73, I believe was the number. 104.73. But it got back into this area where it stopped the last time and then came all the way back down. Didn't close on the low, but it did close about 2/3 down the range. Bonds were up $2.50 as rates were down, as everybody was talking about recession and the energy prices. And as I said, the nat gas was up. The only stock I really want to talk about tonight is Revlon. Uh, you know, I cannot stress this enough, but I'm going to make a comment that should show you what the value here is. Okay, let's look at the weekly just so you can see the stock is down from 17 and a quarter, traded $1.08 last week. This company is bankrupt. There is a short position in it. All of the buying has been basically Robinhood and Fidelity individual accounts. The thing that I want to point out here is to give you an idea of what the equity is worth. The bonds, which you would think may be secured creditors, are trading at the same area as the stock. Let me repeat that. The same area as the stock. What does that mean? Well, the stock today, let's give you another look here. The stock today, $8.14 after trading almost 10 and up $2.08 for a move of 35%. The bonds are selling at 8 also. 8 cents on the dollar. 92% down. So how much equity do you think you're really going to find here? Now, I understand short interest, big short position. Maybe people get stuck. Maybe the same meme traders from Robinhood do the same thing with this that they've done with others. And that's fine. I'm warning you, don't be the last one to be out of it. I'm not trading it, and I sit in front of the screen all day and can see every tick. And if I'm not trading it, being able to do that, you probably shouldn't either. So there you have it. I'll be back first thing in the morning. Tomorrow's Thursday, and as you know, Thursday is claims day, so we'll get those numbers. I think there's a couple of PMI numbers. Most of those, though, don't come out until after the market is open. Just to give a quick gander at it, let me just see what is actually there. Okay, so Q1 current account balance, that comes out at 8:30. Initial and continuing claims comes out at 8:30. The June IHS market manufacturing and service PMIs don't come out until 9:45. And Powell is in front of the House Financial Services Committee at 10 o'clock again for the second day of his semi-annual policy testimony. So there you have it. Hope everyone had a better day. I was kind of pleased with the action in Disney, which traded 91 and low change um, uh, prior to the open after coming down. It turns out that Kathy Wood sold her position yesterday, and that's why we got stuck in that downdraft. But the stock did recover, trading up to about 94 and a half, and it closed. Let me just check. It closed at 93.40, and that was actually up 11 cents on the day after trading 94.61. So I think that trade's going to be okay. Have a good